I cannot and will not follow you, even if you're a pope. As a leader, if you do not follow Jesus Christ, then you'll end up in hell, and whoever goes after you will end up in hell as well. They dressed up in a sheep clothing, but they are vicious wolves from within.
Bishop Marmari proclaims that the beast will rise with fury, waging war against Christianity itself, seeking to trample the faith and extinguish the light of Christ from the earth.
Who's going to destroy the Christians by name? The beast. Let us read. And another angel followed, verse 8, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she has made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
The beast shall not conquer true believers, but will devour those who bear the name of Christ, yet deny him by their deeds, empty vessels, swept away in the great falling away.
The beast will destroy those Christians who are only by name, not by deed. Lip service Christians, not from the heart. The beast that came out of the sea in Revelation 13 will destroy those Christians by name.
The beast is not merely a creature, but a system, a dark dominion driven by the full fury of Satan, seeking to consume the earth and its inhabitants.
The church of the 21st century has become Christians by name. Unfortunately, and so sadly to the Lord first and foremost, the church has walked away from the true Messiah. We've become Christians by name. See, we said the beast is the system, which Satan is the full force drive behind it. The red dragon. Satan is behind this system, the beast. Now this system has infiltrated the church at the highest levels. Hierarchies in the church are members in secret societies.
Clothed in the wool of sheep, yet seething as ravenous wolves, they have crept into the highest ranks of Christendom, corrupting from within, servants of darkness masked in the garments of light.
They dressed up in a sheep clothing, but they are vicious wolves from within, infiltrated at the highest levels throughout Christendom. You can call yourself a Catholic, you can call yourself an Orthodox, you can call yourself whatever. The church has been infiltrated. And the biggest sign that the church has been infiltrated, the church submitted to the agenda of the beast in 2020. Submitted. All church leaders agreed. All church leaders supported. All church leaders pushed for this agenda. Come, jab yourself and show an act of love for your neighbor. This is from hierarchies, leaders of great influences in the church. The shepherd has spoken. It is like Christ is speaking. Poor flock, poor sheep, they don't know any better. They believe and trust in this leader so much. They said, well, he knows what he's talking about. The Pope, the Patriarch, the Cardinal, the Bishop, they know what they're talking about. So who are we to go against them? They represent Christ on earth. Christ has chosen them to be our leaders, to be our guidance, who lead us to green pastures and still waters. The shepherds, Christians by name. My beloved, this outfit doesn't mean anything if the heart is not with the Lord. So what I'm dressed up like in this? So what you're a pope? So what you're a patriarch? So what you're a cardinal? So what you're a bishop? So what? Listen, if you do not give your heart to Jesus Christ of Nazareth, only if you do not put your head at his sandals and say to him, Lord, you clean me right out. You fix me, Lord. You protect me, Lord. You deliver me from my weakness, from Satan, from evildoers, from condemnation.
If you, even as the highest rank within the church, refuse to bow to Jesus Christ and crown him as your God, you are already fallen, destined for the fires of hell.
If you, as the highest rank in the church, do not be submissive to Jesus Christ and make him your king, your Lord, your God, your everything, you're gone and you've taken the flock with you to hell. We've missed the humble Christ because we lived for our own glories. We missed the humble Christ. We missed him. For God's sake, Jesus Christ is God revealed in the flesh. This God, the owner of all glory, the owner of all wealth and treasure, he is the king sitting on the throne, the sovereign authority, the creator of everything and everyone that is visible and invisible. When he came to the face of this earth, he walked as if he was a street beggar. So humble, so down to earth. You see him, no Mercedes-Benz, no Rolls-Royce, no limousines, no mansions, no red carpets, no millions and billions of dollars in the bank account. Church, why are you rich in money and so poor in spirit? Church, why are you rich with so many possessions, properties, and you are so poor in faithfuls? Where are your children, church? What happened to those who believe, who follow Jesus Christ? Because you got entangled and so busy with the world, because the church allowed the world to infiltrate her.
Satan marched into the church and dragged the world with him. And so they began to lust after positions, for the spirit of the world strives for power, not for Christ.
Satan walked into the church and brought the world into it. Therefore, they started seeking positions, because the world fights for positions. Politicians go against politicians for the throne. I'll be the prime minister. No, I'll be the president. No, I'll be. Let me get rid of this guy. Go and start some rumors about this one. Stain their reputation so they can't put their names for the next election. My goodness, it's an ugly, filthy, dirty, stupid and foolish world. The church has become like the world. Cardinals going against cardinals, leaders going against leaders, this person excommunicating his own brother, this brother excommunicating the other brother. Church leaders started fighting exactly like the world, because they've lost track of the one who is true love and true humility, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. They lost track. The throne became everything to them. I am the supreme authority on earth. Everyone must follow me. No, sorry, I follow the Lord. I don't need to follow you. If you don't lead me to Jesus Christ, I cannot and will not follow you, even if you're a pope. And by the way, when I say pope, don't just straightway go and think about the Pope of Rome, okay? There is a lot of other popes. The Pope of Rome is one of them. But I'm talking about a leader. I'm not talking about any specific popes. I'm not talking about any specific cardinals. I'm not talking about any specific bishop. But as a leader, if you do not follow Jesus Christ, then you'll end up in hell, and whoever goes after you will end up in hell as well. Now, for a bishop to come and start a prayer in the church, begging Mother Nature to have mercy on them, and if I grab this bishop, the church is sick because it's been infiltrated at the highest levels.
That's the dirtiest, most evil practice that the Catholic Church has been accused of.
I think so, and many institutions as well,
Yeah.
but that is a very bad one. And the other aspect of that is that all the evangelists, the apostles who went out there, every single one of those guys, rather than deny their belief.
The Vatican's image continues to darken as it quietly appoints cardinals who have long been implicated in covering up monstrous acts, leaving the faithful to wonder if evil now wears a collar.
It's gotten a bad rap, and people do feel free to beat up on it.
Mm-hmm.
Even I do when I see it's like, when it's not fair, when I
Right.
think it's off. When they appoint some cardinal in some diocese and he's been covering up for like people who are child,
Yes.
like Theodore McCarrick or Cardinal Wuerl or those kind of guys.
Behind the soft-spoken veneer of Pope Benedict lies a troubling reality. Not only did he fail to cleanse the Church, but he may have helped bury its darkest secrets.
I mean,
For the Pope,
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm
Benedict.
not Benny. Well, he was covering up, but
Yeah.
so is the guy now.
Is he really?
Well, yeah. It's not great.
I thought he was like the more progressive Pope.
Oh, he's very progressive, yes,
But he's covering up for stuff as well. Well, they all are. I mean, it's a dark institution in a lot of ways because it's history.
Even though the Church claims divine origins, it has mutated into something unrecognizable. A powerful institution that now seems haunted by the very corruption it was meant to resist.
Well, the institution, it was instituted by Christ, but that doesn't mean that it can't be flawed. And there's a school of thought that says it isn't what it purports to be anymore. It's moved away from what it was intended to be and what it is. There's a guy called Bishop Vigano who says it's a counterfeit, parallel church. And it's running an entirely different religion. I actually don't adhere to a post-conciliar church.
Whispers still echo from the conclave that elected John the 23rd, an event unlike any before it, shrouded in anomalies that suggest something unspeakable breached the sacred process.
There was an event that happened in the 60s. First, there was an event in the Vatican where they elected John the 23rd Pope, right, in 1958. I was 2 years old, right? He was elected, and it was a very funny thing that happened in the conclave. Usually there's white and black smoke that goes out of the chimneys to tell you, we have a pope, habemus papam, and the white smoke came out, and everybody cheered, and they went crazy. And then about a half an hour later, black smoke came out. That never in history has that happened, that the white smoke came out, and then the black smoke came
So
out.
white smoke means we found a new Pope. Black smoke means no Pope.
That's right. They'd have votes, or there'd be one reason or another they'd have a round in the conclave, and black smoke would come out many times maybe. Maybe it would take 2 weeks. But never was it known that white smoke came out, then black smoke came out.
So what was the scenario?
That somebody was elected, and that maybe something else happened, and he was pushed aside and someone else was put in. So it was
Power struggle.
some kind of power struggle. And, of course, the man who came out was a man called Angelo Roncalli, and he was John the 23rd. Now, it's interesting to note that never had a pope taken the name of another pope ever before in history. But this man took the name of a known anti-pope from the 15th century that Cosimo de' Medici put in there as his own man. I'll get you in the chair, and then everything will be rosy. Everything will go good for business, whatever he was putting him in there for, some corrupt reason. But, and there have been corrupt men in that place before. I mean, there's Alexander VI and Julius II and Sixtus IV. I mean, some of these guys are, they're not saints.
By adopting the name of a known anti-pope, a man who openly declared his illegitimacy, John the 23rd may have sent a chilling signal that the papacy itself had been hijacked.
So he took the name of a known anti-pope from the 5th century who actually said, yes, I'm an anti-pope. Sorry, I'm not the right guy, because there was more than one, and he confessed to being, and he wanted to, square things with with the Almighty, I guess, so he confessed to being an anti-pope. And so he took the same name as that guy, John the 23rd. So it's interesting, don't you think? I mean, why would he do that?
One of the things that he had done was he had moved 100 kids, and he moved them to some new place where he deaf kids.
Yeah. Boy.
That's the dirtiest, most evil practice that the Catholic Church has been accused of.
I think so, and many institutions as well,
Yeah.
but that is a very bad one. And I think it's all part and parcel of the same corruption that crept in. And when you asked what's the difference between pre-Vatican II, so Vatican II happened, and of course they took the church and they reformed it, and they changed things in it. And it didn't necessarily agree with everything that went before it. And up to that point, yeah, you could find it agreed with itself. But all of a sudden, you got something else, to the point where now, I mean, we got a pope that brought a South American idol into the church to worship.
Really?
He did. The Pachamama. He bought the South American, and he got.
I don't know what that is.
It's kind of like a South American god, Pachamama.
Why would he do that?
Good question. But he did.
Did he have an explanation for why he did it?
Yeah, it's kind of a weasel-worded thing of like, oh, all religions are just as good as one another. But, you know, if that's his contention...
He shouldn't be the Pope.
No. I mean,
how can you be the Pope if you say all religions are just as good?
Yeah, we all worship,
When the Pachamama idol was paraded into the heart of the Vatican and a ritual unfolded before it, many saw not unity, but apostasy, a harrowing moment that felt like the church bending the knee to a false god.
So, yeah, there's a Pachamama. There you go.
So he brought that in.
Yeah, into the Vatican. Then the hierarchy even worshipped. They had a ceremony around it outside.
What?
So, well, that constitutes apostasy.
Yeah.
That's an apostasy move, all right?
Worshipping false gods.
Yeah, that's number one on the Mosaic hit list. You know? Moses goes up on the mountain, he comes back down, people are worshiping a golden calf.
Yeah.
You know, it's that.
Yeah.
So you can't do that. And for me, that's a departure from what that's called apostasy.
Right.
It's a falling away from it. And the very nature of apostasy means that you have to be part of it to fall away from it. Mm-hmm. So it's an inside job.
So what do you think there's a motive behind these things?
I don't think probably.
What do you think it is?
I don't know, but it isn't good. I think we're looking at a world where I'm going to try and tackle this question: that there are big realms, spiritual realms. There's good, there's evil, and they are slugging it out for the souls of mankind. And my question is, why are we even important? Little old flawed humanity, why are we important in that process where the big realms are slugging it out over us? And I think there's bigger things at play here. And institutions that purport to touch on the divine are necessarily going to be affected by that slugfest that's going on between good and evil.
Right.
And
sometimes good gives up ground.
I regard the Gospels as history. It's verifiable history. Some people say, oh, it's a fairy tale. He never existed, but he did. And there are other accounts, verifiable historical accounts outside the biblical ones that also bear this up, that yes, he did exist. And the other aspect of that is that all the evangelists, the apostles who went out there, every single one of those guys, rather than deny their belief. And nobody for a lie. Nobody.
Right.
So that's part of what I'm doing. It's like showing nobody for a lie.
Yeah. Well, the resurrection is the one that is the most difficult for people to swallow.
Yes.
That's the one that requires the most faith.
The most faith and the most belief. Yeah, resurrection.
Yeah.
Who gets back up 3 days later after he gets in public? Who gets back up under his own power? Buddha didn't do that.